Good morning, everybody. Just getting everybody logged on. So bear with me. People are coming in. Admit all, admit all, admit all. Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hi. So lots of moving pieces going on. Coming out of a pandemic is even more challenging than going into one, let me tell you. Hello, everybody. Just letting everybody in the room. Still kind of early getting on here. If you guys have questions, let's address them and answer them. I know there's quite a bit of questions regarding LA's garbage. So I have a list: DCBA, LARSO, LAHD. I got a list. So if you guys need a question answered, I will do my best to try to answer it. The threshold rent is going to be an issue for LA City. So if you're in LA City, here's what I could say. You're not required to take partial payments. So if taking a partial payment would put you under LA City's threshold for rents, you don't have to. Got it? Letting people in, letting people in. Hi, Hilda. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever. Hello. So lots of moving parts with the pandemic ending in LA County. Quite a bit of confusion. So I'm going to keep it simple. Starting April 1st, moving forward, you need to get paid. If you're not getting paid for April, serve for April and start your case based on April. Leave everything that happened during the pandemic alone. I hope that makes sense to you. There's still no case law regarding COVID. So if we don't have to invite it to the party, don't. Okay, DCBA has their own rules. LARSO has their own rules, and LAHD has their own rules. On top of that, we have municipalities coming up with their own rules. City of Inglewood now runs like the city of Los Angeles. You must send copies of all notices to the city. You have to register your unit. That's City of Inglewood. More hurdles to trip us up. Yep. Inglewood is the big one that's going to trip you up, because they're going to wait until you're knee deep in an eviction and then say, you never served us a copy of the notice, so your case is bad. Try again. If I could give you guys all a solid, it would be this. If you're owed rent monies during the pandemic, please talk to your CPA and see how they can write off the loss on your taxes. Did that click? I hope that clicked. All right. The moratorium is officially over. Want me to say it again? The moratorium for COVID is officially over in the city of LA, in the county of LA. There are no more extensions. They're just new rules. So Measure H, City of Pasadena came up with their own bureaucracy and bullshit. City of Inglewood came up with their own. So we're going to start seeing some more municipalities come up with their own, I'm sure. Have your tax person figure out how to write off the loss on your taxes. Hey, Hilda, are you in a place where you can unmute yourself and talk to me? Or are you busy? I just thought I'd ask. Because if you're in a place where you can unmute yourself and talk to me, girl, I want to banter with you back and forth for my clients so that they understand what I'm about to tell them. But if you're busy, I get it. Let me see who else is on here. That would be really good at helping me banter a bit. Hilda. David's on. Hello, David. So I know everybody's waiting. Hey, Patty, so what can we do? What can we do? Move forward, start the eviction. Started only on April. I'm on my cell, so trying to unmute. See on the left-hand side of the bottom of your screen? Maybe I can unmute you, Hilda. Hold on. Hold on, you guys. And then Hilda and I are going to have fun. Hang on. Hold on, Hilda. See if that worked. It might not work. I don't know. I'm not real good at these buttons. Come on. I've actually goofed so bad, you guys, that I can't even see what Val types to me sometimes. You guys all have to help me. All right. I'm going to play the game. I tried to unmute you. Geraldo, I had a small claims hearing today. Any ideas on how to collect on a judgment? Well, you only have a short window that you can collect unless your tenant makes more than $41 an hour. See, Gavin Newsom passed a law last October that takes effect on September 1st of this year, stating that tenants that owe landlords money cannot have their wages garnished unless they make more than $41 an hour. And that law kicks in on September 1st. They took away our recourse. I lost Hilda completely. She'll be back. I know she will. Patty, what's the new order?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, yay.
So you guys, just so you know, Hilda's also a fellow real estate broker. I've worked with her for God knows how many years. How long have we known each other, Hilda? Like 20 years almost?
Yeah.
Okay. So
but we still look good.
Yeah, we still look good. 20 years later. So you know how for like 30 years, Hilda, we've been advertising no evictions. We don't want them.
Yes.
What if I said to you, let's start advertising evictions welcome, inquire within? Would you say I was crazy?
Just a bit, yeah.
Just a bit, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about this, you guys. Let's really talk about this. An eviction that we can see means if the landlord won within 60 days of the case being filed.
Right.
Wait, isn't that the tenant we all want?
Yes.
It's the eviction we can't see that scares the crap out of me. That's the eviction where they asked for a trial by jury and it went for 11 months and the landlord got screwed. We can't see those. Are you afraid of what you can see or what you can't see? I'm not trying to freak everybody out right now. What I'm doing is using Hilda to banter back and forth so you guys see a bigger picture. That's all. What are we afraid of? What we can see or what we can't see? What we can't see.
What we can't see.
Correct. Right. Do we need to possibly consider revamping the way we've advertised for 30 years?
Maybe. We could try.
If the laws are changing against us, don't we have to kind of combat that so we can stay ahead of it? It's definitely something to think about, you guys. Reality is none of us want to rent to people with evictions. Hilda will attest to that. The problem is we can't see them. So I ask you again, what are you afraid of? What you can see or what you can't? Just trying everybody's head to start thinking in a different direction. As they keep changing these laws to hurt us, we got to think outside of the building on how to combat what the changes are.
Right.
Why don't head on? Because if I can see an eviction on someone's credit report, that means a landlord won within 60 days of the case filing. That means a tenant vacated and went quietly into the night. Isn't that who you want as a tenant? It's who I want as a tenant.
Yep. True that.
Okay, not giving anybody advice, just trying to get your blinders to see this way. That's all. Okay. Thank you for helping me, Hilda. You're my hero. All right. And I will be at the AOA trade show this month, you guys, in downtown LA. It's in downtown LA. It's in downtown LA. Just so everybody knows. I'll be in the PRC booth, so you can come by and see me. Would the eviction affect the FICO? No, not necessarily. No. What date? It takes effect September 1st. We're aware we can't garnish wages anymore. That takes effect on September 1st. So if we can't garnish wages anymore and they took away our tools, let me just get people in here. Kind of makes sense, right? Kind of makes total sense, right? Just trying to get that ball turning a different direction as they continually shut doors for us and make it more difficult. I want you to think outside of the building. I know, everybody's head just went poof. What did Patty say? She's a crazy crackhead. She wants this to rent to people with evictions on their credit. That's what she just said. How do you know you're not renting to people with evictions on their credit right now? Because you can't see them. Can't see them. Don't forget it, okay? Also, you guys, with LA market rent, I think I talked about this, watch that threshold. Don't take partial payments in LA if you have that threshold. Concerning how far delinquent they can be before you can serve the notice, it's garbage. It's going to be a forced savings account for tenants at the landlord's expense, this threshold thing. If you want more information on that, I'd be more than happy to tell you my opinion, but think of it this way. If the landlord cannot serve the tenant with a 3-day notice to pay rent or quit on a 2-bedroom apartment unless the tenant is $2,222 behind, why wouldn't I stay $2,220 behind? So you can't touch me. Understand? Yes, you do. I'm going to go on a cruise and I'm going to use $2,200 to go use a cruise because you can't serve me a notice until I'm $2 more behind. And I'm going to make sure I pay my rent, so I'm not. The floodgates have opened. Be ready. City of LA does require a 30-day covenant notice going forward. So your cure or quits are 30 days in LA City. So watch out for that one. And anything you want to do, I highly, strongly suggest and recommend that you contact your legal counsel for direction. Arlene, oh, this is going to be a good one. Yesterday, I had 2 trespassers on my property, have no trespassing signs, filed the form for arrest with the LAPD. It's called the 602 letter, just so everybody knows. One was doing crack. Any suggestions? If I call PD, I'm not sure they will come. I know you're going to have to continually contact PD and ask them to arrest for trespassing. Call them and tell them you have trespassers on your property and you want them removed. The mayor of LA is against you, so good luck. It's LA County where they're just not helping us because they don't want to contribute to the homeless population. And what they don't understand is we're going to have homeless no matter what we do. Okay. And all you're doing is biting the hand that feeds you, because we as homeowners are the ones that pay property taxes. That benefits the city, right? They're making homelessness problem worse. Yeah, I have a way to fix the homelessness problem, but you know, it makes sense, so nobody will utilize it. I really do have a way to fix the homelessness problem. No joke. It makes sense. You guys want to hear it? How many businesses how many businesses would pay anywhere from $300 to $500 a month to keep the homeless out of the front of their storefront? Hundreds of them. Yes, hundreds. We have all these abandoned shopping malls. Why don't we turn them into homeless encampments, make it an arrestable offense, and lock them up? If they need help, we could use the anchor stores like Montgomery Ward's and Sears and J.C. Penney's, okay, as a drug rehab, a mental facility, a work release program. We could have multiple things inside the shopping mall, along with all those little stores could be bunk rooms, if you will. We could do a work release program. We can make it an arrestable offense. They could get locked up. They could get the help they need. And then we could send the bill back to the state that shipped them here for rehabilitating their tenant or their person for $1.2 million. There's solved. Make it an arrestable offense. Do something with these shopping malls that are sitting vacant. Turn them into homeless encampments. Yeah, it would be like Monty Brewster, none of the above. It just makes sense. Because it makes sense, they won't implement it. They're going to say homelessness isn't an arrestable offense. It's not a crime. We encourage homelessness in California. Come on over. Stupid. Patty cannot run for office. Okay. I'm allergic to bureaucracy and bullshit. 5150 crackhead. I love it. Free drugs to the homeless. Yeah, that'll get them going in there. Okay. LARSO, elderly VA tenant wants to install a chairlift in the common area stairwell. The VA denied it several years ago. Unclear as to why, as before my time. But the tenant would like to pay out of pocket for the lift. I assume that this is a big liability for our owner. Our insurer would say we would be liable for damages. So the question is, what happens if the tenant falls without the chairlift? And is there any way around this chairlift liability issue? Relocate them to a downstairs unit without stairs. Sorry, I don't mean to be that simple, but sometimes it's that simple. The tenant would like to pay out of pocket for the lift. I assume this is a big liability for the owner. Well, the tenant could pay for the modification and then they'd have to pay to move it back when they vacate the unit. That would be a request for reasonable modifications based on a disability. Hope that makes sense. You tried to relocate them already. Hey, great minds think alike. You don't have to allow the chairlift. You don't. If they absolutely need it, then you could allow them to modify the property at their expense. And I would require that it be installed by a licensed state B contractor to remove any potential liability with the installation. Can I now file small claims for a current tenant that appears to have no intention to pay their March 2020 rent, 75% of July, August, blah, blah, blah. I got you, Tony. I'd have to check. There's certain time periods where it becomes due and then you can file on the small claims. Tony, I'm going to tell you something, so just listen to me, okay? Have your CPA figure out how to write it off as a loss on your taxes. As soon as you can get a small claims judgment against them, remember, starting September 1st, we can't garnish wages unless they make more than $41 an hour. And quite frankly, in case you guys didn't know this, people that make $41 an hour or more are homeowners, not tenants. Just saying. Okay, so please keep that in mind. You tried to relocate them already, then the next thing that you could do is allow them to make the modification at their expense. I'd require that they use a licensed contractor and go that route. I heard on the radio there was a homeless person living in an RV on a residential area in Venice. Not sure why they are homeless, but they have an RV. Yep. The point is, even the street sweepers are not allowed to give this person a ticket as it was a protected class. A homeowner who looks at this RV every day and watches this person dump their trash and sewage in front of her house was told she could do nothing about it. This is a crazy state. LA County. Landlord comes home from work, notices somebody in their backyard, walks out there and says, "Excuse me, what are you doing here?" Person trespassing in the backyard says, "I live in that storage shed right there." And the homeowner says, "No, you don't. This is my house. You don't live in my storage unit." They call the cops. The cops say, "This is a civil matter." They say they live here. You're now going to have to evict them. I call it the just us system, not justice. Because there is no justice. It's just us. Got it? Okay. Duly noted. So I got a funny for you guys. Dismantle the shed. Hell yeah, baby. With tannerite, sorry. Val right now is laughing so hard I can hear her from Orange County, okay? Some people don't know what that is, so they're like, huh, what did she say? I know nothing, you guys. So I have a funny story for you. One of the fast evict attorneys was in court this morning, I think she said, and a client approached her, a new client, saying, "I want to use you, blah, blah, blah." And she said, "Well, you have to go through the company that I work for. I don't take on people directly. You got to go through the company I work for." She says, "Okay." She says, "I don't have a card on me. You can just give them a call." And she goes, "Okay, who do you work for?" And she said, "Fast eviction service." And the client turned to the attorney and said, "You mean Patty Widget?" That's not me. Okay. I just work here, but I thought it was really funny because I'm like, that's not me. But I thought it was really cute that they immediately put the two of us together. So I thought it was funny. Sorry. Okay. What other challenges could I tell you are gonna suck?
Patty, this is David. How are you?
I'm short, sassy, and sick of the garbage.
Like usual. Look, I was
My hair.
I found out there are people that do this for a living, that you can hire them if there is someone that takes over your house. You can hire them and write a lease agreement with them, and they move into the apartment that they have taken over, and then the police will be called, and the police has to take the side of the person that has actual lease rather than the other person who doesn't have a lease. What are your thoughts about this, please?
Except in LA County. The mayor of LA has been had his foot held to the fire to not create any more homelessness in his county. And that's how he's combating it. It's garbage. Innkeepers don't even have their rights. Innkeeper law, what is that? It's garbage. That's what it is. It's garbage. It's the just us system. Moving forward, as far as evictions go, we should be able to do evictions for non-payment of rent. Moving forward in LA County, in LA City, there are no more protections for tenants. There is no more self-certification. There is no more I can't pay you because of COVID. There is no more excuses for bad behavior. I hate to tell you guys, just start the process, but the reality is just start the process. Get with your legal counsel, find out what it is you have to do, and do it just for April. Stop going backwards and they owe me $40,000. I know what they owe you. Just get your house back, start over, reboot, reload, start over. The chances of you seeing that money are slim and none. And if I'm the first person that's telling you that, I'm so sorry. Get possession. Get possession, get possession, get possession, get possession. If you need help managing a property, I know of a real estate broker actually right here in this class that would be more than happy to manage your investment property for you. Huh, Hilda? She handles this stuff every day, so you don't have to. I don't. If you want me to help you, you're going to have to put my name on title. I'm just being funny. Like I said, you guys, I've known Hilda for 20 years. We've been through some pretty interesting trials and tribulations in our careers, and we always seem to come out on the upper half of things. So in the event that you do need assistance in managing your investment property, please feel free to reach out to Hilda. She'd be more than happy to help assist you. And one of the nice things about that is if she gets in trouble, she calls me. So you're still kind of in the wheelhouse, if you will. So keep that in mind, you guys. If you need professional property management, Hilda would be more than happy to help assist you in whatever city you may be in. All right, anybody have any more questions for me in regards to the LA market rent threshold, the DCBA, LARSO, or LAHD? I know it's a lot, I know. Watch your LAHD, folks. Those are the people that want the relocation fees of 5 months of rent plus $2,000 if they have minor children or seniors. And that's LAHD. Watch out for that one because they govern more than you think. If you have a single family residence, LAHD could now control you with that relocation fee for terminating tenancy without cause. They could ask you to pay that 5 months of rent as a relocation fee plus $2,000. So keep that in mind if you're trying to terminate tenancy. Yes, we have our teeth back, but they could be costly. In other words, you could have to pay a pretty penny. Have a client in the city of Sherman Oaks wants his house back. Fair enough. Rent $6,500 a month. In order for them to serve a notice that they want their house back, they're going to have to pay 5 months of rent as a relocation fee to the tenant plus $2,000. Extortion. Extortion. Our property is being invaded by the neighbor's bamboo. Okay, just so you guys know, bamboo is no joke. It's evasive, extremely evasive. It entangled in the electrical line and is bending over our property back garden. We can cut it down. Most gardeners wouldn't, as it's not on our property, but our owner doesn't want to pay thousands for the pleasure of this. Neighbor says he's trimming his side, which doesn't make sense as it originates 100% on his side. I'm about to call the city about it. Call the city. Patty, single family residence who only owes one single family residence and fourplex only owe 1 month rent. Potentially. But you watch how your tenants are gonna try to connive and get right in there. Great idea, Hilda. Call code enforcement about the bamboo intrusion. Cause she's spot on. If somebody else's tree is causing you a problem, it's city code enforcement that would assist with that. So she's spot on, you guys. Call code enforcement regarding the bamboo issue. I found out a couple days ago that in my area of unincorporated area of LA County, under RSO, you cannot evict for substantial improvements, even if necessary with permits. You can only evict for owner family move-in if qualified and supply relocation fees. The attorney said it's already law. So if in your unit is not habitable for whatever reason and you need to repair, you need to pay and place the tenant in a temporary place until the rental unit is habitable at the same rent rate. Imagine if it takes 2 weeks. The mom and pops won't be able to afford this, especially when the rents are low.
Patty, if you have an empty unit in the same complex, can you tell them that, okay, move to this empty unit until I fix this? That would prevent you from spending tons of money. Is that okay?
Temporary relocation, yes. Under DCBA, so if you're in the county of LA, they have a set per diem amount, okay? And just so you guys know, some of the things of the DCBA are more controlling than LARSO. Yeah, I'm not frozen. I'm stuck that way. So check this out. Under DCBA, they have a set habitability amount. Wait, what the what? That's right. They have a set habitability amount. If you need to relocate your tenant for any reason within the DCBA's jurisdiction, you are required to pay them $207 a day, plus $66 for each adult and $33 for each child 12 and under for incidentals, meaning their food, their laundry, etc. No matter how much your rent is. So if your rent is $600, you still have to pay $207 per day, plus $66 for adults and $33 for children. So if your rent's $600, within 3 days of you having to pay this for your tenant, you've used your rent amount for the month. It's garbage, complete garbage. Doesn't matter how much your rent is, that's your per diem. So it's not a 30th of the rent under the DCBA. No, it's $207 per day. I want to know. I don't have a calculator in front of me except for my cell phone. Could somebody do some math for me really quick and do 207 times 30 and tell me what dollar amount we get? I'm just curious what that would be the monthly breakdown for what rents.
6210.
So by making us pay, hold on, let me write that down, 6210. Thank you, Arlene. You guys are my heroes. I hope you know that. You guys paying attention? At $207 per day per diem through the DCBA, it means your monthly rent would be $6,210. dumbfounded. No words. I got nothing. Sorry. Hang on. Someone's trying to call me. I'm like, don't call me during a webinar.
Is Agla trying to file a suit regarding that? Do you know?
Not sure if Agla's filing a suit against the DCBA. It's just, it's their rule. Whether they have a suit against it, I'm not sure. They got suits going all over the place. The one I really want them to get is Gavin Newsom's one on wage garnishment. Go attack there. All right, just letting people get logged in. If anybody else needs anything, please let me know. I'm just talking, we're talking out loud, we're brainstorming together about the changes in the industry and how they will continually affect us. I will say this. Outside of Los Angeles County, we've been back to business as normal since October of last year. In Riverside, in San Bernardino, in Orange County, in the majority of places. We have been back to business as normal since October of last year. So with that being said, we have rebooted and reloaded for the most part, and our non-paying COVID tenants in neighboring counties have either paid and stayed, or we've gotten a new tenant in there and we've rebooted, reloaded, we're collecting rents and we're starting to become profitable again. So keep that in mind, folks. The light at the end of the tunnel is coming forth, okay? What recommendation on bathroom floor apartment unit? Okay, hold on, Geraldo. I don't know what you're talking about. Let me back up a bit, okay? Melanie, I love you. We're doomed. And we are learning as this evolves with the new laws, what we can and what we can't do going forward. Which reminds me, I need to call the city of Inglewood today because they do not allow a tenancy at will. And my question becomes, then what do I do about the booty call gone bad? Sorry. On YouTube, there is a guy, Flash Sheldon, who moved into his mother's home with squatters inside. He had a rental agreement, was able to call the cops and remove the trespassers as he removed their furniture from his house. They were professional squatters. Not sure if this is the site. Handyman answers, not in LA, of course. Yep. And he was a big, brave guy. Those are the best. Geraldo, ask me again, what's my recommendation on bathroom floor for apartment unit? I don't know what you're speaking of. Reel me back in. Get me on the same page. Oh, what is my recommendation for bathroom floor? Tile is one of the least amount of things that you have to replace. However, tile floors in bathrooms can become slicker than snot when they're wet. So I tend to go vinyl in a bathroom, not laminate, because if it gets wet, you're screwed. Okay, so I hope that answers that question. I tend to go vinyl in a bathroom or tile, but it's slicker than snot when it gets wet. So it can become a slip and fall risk if wet. God knows I got tile floors. And when you walk on them because you don't have a towel and you don't have somebody else you can ask for a towel because you're single and you gotta walk on that tile floor dripping wet, it's slicker than snot, let me tell you. In my bathroom remodels, I use textured tile with matching tile baseboards. Great job. I agree. I'm all about tile, but it's slicker than snot, and Hilda knows, so she seconds the vinyl, and it's just because it's not slicker than snot. For some reason, tile is extremely slippery when wet. Rolled linoleum in raised foundation bathrooms. I agree. Linoleum, vinyl, same concept. City of LA, not RSO. Tenant's fridge went out, but within 3 days, we supplied a mini fridge as the parts were on order. As a temporary measure, is this sufficient not to pay for tenant meals, etc.? It's a habitability issue. They don't owe rent. Got it, Melanie? It's a habitability issue and they don't owe rent. And it could be even worse than that. If the food that was in the refrigerator was spoiled, you could be responsible to replace that food that's spoiled in the refrigerator. But if it were me and insurance was a requirement, I may ask the tenant to contact their insurance company regarding the food spoilage loss. Make sense? Okay, that clicked. Okay. I can't always tell you guys exactly what to do, but I can point you in the right direction and hope that you hear what I'm telling you. See, Melanie's saying, thanks, got it, because she knows right now what she needs to do. She also now knows that she could contact the tenant's insurance company to see if they will cover her loss of food in the refrigerator. Food's expensive, you guys. Have you ever had to replace a fridge and a freezer full of food? It's between $600 and $800, and that was 10 years ago. No joke. So you want a funny story? I got one. Hilda probably remembers this one because it went around our office years ago for quite some time. It was rather interesting. See, a landlord bought another house and decided that they were going to put the house that they've lived in their whole lives on the rental program and rent it out. So they did. They signed it up with our company. We managed it. The landlord's son got drunk one night, went to the bar with his friends. His friends were so sweet, they drove him home to the wrong house. He used his key and let himself in. Went to the refrigerator to make a snack, realized that he didn't recognize anything in the refrigerator, left the refrigerator door open, and passed out on the couch. Hilda's going, I remember this. I remember this because I said, if I woke up and found that person asleep on my couch in the morning, I would have shot him. Just saying. He's in my house. I don't know who he is. The tenant's kids woke up their mom and dad and said, there's a stranger on our couch. Can you imagine? So they woke him up. Excuse me, who are you and what are you doing here? And how did you get in? He wakes up, still drunk, and starts rambling because he sees what's happening. He understands what happened, but he's still drunk. So he's not speaking in clear English. He's speaking in mixed sentences. He just gets up and leaves and says, I'm the owner's son. I'm sorry. And leaves. So guess who gets the phone call? I do, because I'm a boss. So I deal with the garbage. Tenant calls and says, hey, this happened. He left our refrigerator open, says he's the landlord's son. It's more than apparent to us that he has some kind of mental disability because he was not all there when we were talking to him. I grabbed a hold of that and ran with it and said, you're absolutely correct. The landlord is now going to pay for your food in the fridge and the freezer for the inconvenience and have the locks changed for the inconvenience, and they apologize. Sorry, the son has some mental disabilities and got confused. We'll make sure this doesn't happen again because we're changing the locks and he will not have a key, and we apologize. The tenants in possession said, oh, thank you for fixing this for us. I called the landlord. I told the landlord, you're lucky you're not planning a funeral. But you're going to pay for the food in the fridge and the freezer, and you're going to pay for a locksmith. And we're going to cross our fingers that I can glue this back together.
Hey, Patty, what would be the worst case scenario if you did not fix things up or interfered with this?
I mean, what would you do if somebody used their key, came into your house, ruined all the food in your refrigerator and in your freezer, and then passed out drunk on your couch for your kids to find in the morning? So we just went with the story of he has a mental disability. You're right. He didn't speak to you clearly. So basically, I fed off the information that the tenant gave me and just went that direction and didn't call it a drunken stupor event. I called it a mental issue. You know, sometimes you just cross your fingers, squeeze your cheeks, and hope and pray for the best. That was one of them. You know, when people ask you, oh, you worked that so nicely. Yeah, it was a close one. You never know what's going to happen. You never know how it's going to play out. That could have gotten really nasty, really bad, really bad. I mean, I'm just saying, if I woke up in the morning and my grandson came in and said, hey, grandma, there's a stranger on the couch, I wouldn't be poking him and asking him how he got in. Okay. Just saying. I'm trying to keep my comment to myself so I don't incriminate myself, but I could hear Val going, yeah, I would have shot him too. The landlord should be extremely happy that they're not planning a funeral. No joke. Okay. Are we legally required to supply a mold report to a tenant? Ha ha. Talk to your legal counsel. It depends. If there's nothing on that report, then I would provide it to them so they STFU. Shut the F up. Just saying. If there is mold there, but it's surface mold or mold that's the tenant's responsibility, I might also give them that report, letting them know it's their responsibility. So as nicely as I could say this, Melanie, it's on a case-by-case basis, depending on what's going on. Okay. And I can hear the attorney in my office saying right here on the top of my shoulder, Patty, you should always do it that way. I'm all for not supplying any appliances or supply at tenant's requirement to repair. I understand. I took out all my stainless fridges, stoves, washer, dryer. They are expensive to fix and or replace if necessary. I didn't realize until after a tenant left that the washer stopped working. It was $100 just to diagnose, and that amount could be used towards the $350 to repair. It's best to let renters bring their own. I completely and totally agree. As far as washers and dryers go, what I am going to say to you is please install a washer pan. No joke. If you're not installing a washer pan and you're asking the tenants to bring their own washer and dryer and connect them and all that stuff, you're only hurting yourself. You need to make sure you have a washer pan. Usually they use them on second floors in case there's a flood. It goes right down the washer drain. They sit in this little wash pan. I highly suggest that you get one. It does wonders when there's an oops and it doesn't flood your house because it all goes in the washer pan. Got it? Highly suggest and strongly recommend that you supply a wash pan if you don't supply the washer and dryer. How does not providing appliances affect rent? Let me explain something. You always want to supply the oven or stove, okay? Because we don't want tenants assembling and disassembling gas appliances. Got it? That should say enough right there. So providing a stove, in my opinion, is a requirement. Okay, we don't want tenants to be hauling stoves and ovens around with them. Okay, you got to remember that an oven stove is a habitability issue. So you want control over that, not them. Got it? As far as a refrigerator goes, I make the tenant bring their own. As far as a washer and dryer goes, I make the tenant bring their own. The only appliance that I provide are those that are built in, like a microwave, a garbage disposal, okay? I provide the oven stove combo. That's it. I do not provide a refrigerator. I do not provide washer and dryer. If I have them there, they are there for the tenant to use and the owner will not maintain them. And that verbiage is in my contract. So in the event that the appliance stops working, the most that the landlord is going to have to pay for is to have the broken appliance removed from the premises. That's all. They are there for the tenant to use and the landlord will not maintain them. Washer, dryer, refrigerator, whatever it may be. Everybody get that verbiage? Okay. Anybody have anything else? We really need to be careful in LA County moving forward. There's a lot of moving pieces, not only in the city and the county. LA City's new ordinance kicks in on June 1st. Right now, it's just erring on the side of caution. Don't forget to pay your property taxes. I see all kinds of stuff. Don't forget to pay your property tax. Say that again about appliances. I got you, Jay. Just hang on. Usually when the gas company comes to turn on service, they check to make sure everything is connected properly, including the gas water heater. But I do not know if that has changed. I completely agree with you, Tony. The problem is if they put in the appliance after the gas gets turned on, then it can be a little dicey. Okay. Say that again about appliances. This is not in regards to appliances that create a habitability issue. Okay. So I always provide the oven stove combo. Always, I provide it. I don't provide anything else other than the built-ins, garbage disposal, microwave. Okay. If there's a washer dryer there, what I say is they're there for the tenants to use and the owner will not maintain them. They are there as a courtesy for the tenant to utilize and the owner will not maintain them. They are not part of the rental contract. They're a favor. I hope that helped you. If it's built in, then I'm providing it. So if you have a built-in dishwasher, you're responsible to maintain it. Remember that when you're looking at houses, okay, to purchase. If it's built in, you maintain it. Microwave, dishwasher, got it? Keep those things in mind. Can you say that about an AC unit if it's left behind by a tenant? Absolutely. The window air conditioning unit is here for the tenant to use. However, the landlord will not maintain it. In other words, if it breaks, the landlord would be responsible for the expense of removing it from the property, nothing more. Can you let us know again what notices we need to give tenants? For example, lead-based paint, bed bugs, mold, including if the renter's under rent control, etc. Yes, I can. it depends on what you have at your property. So if you have a pool, you definitely need to disclose that there's no lifeguard on duty and they're to use the pool at their own risk, things like that. Lead-based paint's a requirement if the property was built prior to 1978. After that, you still need to serve the notice regarding lead-based paint, but this time you're saying that there's no known paint. So lead-based paint's a requirement. Bed bugs is a requirement. AB 1482 is a requirement. Megan's Law is a requirement. Flood zones is a requirement. There's a lot of requirements. So Tony, I would tell you to check with AGLA. They could put together a lease packet for you, or you could put a lease packet together and then email it to me, have me look at it, and I'll pipe up with my 2 cents for what they're worth. While garbage disposals are not required, I always try to install one, even if they do not have a dishwasher. So do I, Val. So do I. I lived in a house once that didn't have a garbage disposal, and it was a nightmare. And then I lived in a house that had another garbage disposal, and that damn garbage disposal got jammed up no matter what you put in it, even dishwater. It would jam up if you just put dishwater through it. It was ridiculous. So the newer rental agreements have all those disclosures included. Yes, they do. But if you're using an older document, they might not have them. So you want to make sure that you're disclosing everything at hello, especially in LA County. Pest control, tenant pays, or habitability issue. Pest control falls on the landlord. And it is a habitability issue. Unless it was brought in by the tenant. Example, I have bed bugs. Oh, you have bed bugs? Okay, we'll send somebody out right away. Bam, rent's not owed from the moment they tell you they have bed bugs. Cockroaches, whatever it may be. You send an exterminator over there, okay? And the exterminator starts questioning them. How did you get these? Oh, you brought a bunch of new used furniture. You brought in used furniture or new furniture. Boom. Now I can have the professional exterminator give me a cause of the infestation. If the cause of the infestation was due to the tenant's neglect, I may be able to charge that expense back to the tenant. See how that worked? I need to update and give these notices to existing tenants with old agreements. So before doing any evictions, I want to make sure that they have all my disclosure notices up to date. I got you, T. Just email me over what you're using so far and I'll pinpoint what you still need to disclose. Which company certifies no mold, no bed bugs, and no cost? Is this a trick question? Which company certifies no mold and no bed bugs and no cost? I don't know. I think this is a trick question. PRC would certify no mold. They don't do bed bugs. That would be an exterminator company. And I strongly suggest that you have the unit tested for bed bugs prior to your tenant taking possession. Why, Patty? Why? Because if I can prove with a little piece of paper that there was no infestation on this day at this time, and then an infestation comes at a later date, it's not going to be at the fault of the landlord. It's going to be at the fault of the tenant that brought those bugs in. Oh, that's how I do it. Did everybody just catch that? That's how you bill the bed bug expense back to the tenant. You have the unit tested prior to them taking possession or just today. Because the bed bug certification is going to say there was no bed bugs in that unit on this day at this time. If they came after that, it would be at the fault of the tenant, not of the landlord. Unless, of course, the landlord went and bought them some used furniture and dumped it in their unit and said, here you go, have some bed bugs. They're your new roommates. Sorry. I bought a vacant fixer-upper. I remodeled top to bottom. The tenant we chose complained of bed bugs a few months later. I did not need to prove there wasn't bed bugs before they moved in and found out they bought used furniture and or pulled in furniture from the alley. I paid for the eradication, but charged them an extra $100 a month and they agreed to pay for it. It was their fault. Okay, so you can work those things out. It can be challenging. I have actually evicted people for bringing bed bugs into the house and been successful at it. I've actually charged them for having the fumigation done, excess of $5,000 for having the house tenanted, and successfully charged that back to the tenant, and then evicted them for not paying it. Hi, I'm that girl. Dry foggers or wet foggers for roaches. Call an exterminator. I call an exterminator when it comes to cockroaches. Do you want to know why? I don't use a fogger. I call a pro. Because I want them to put in paper why there's an infestation to begin with. Because if it's at the negligence of the tenant, I want to be able to bill that entire expense back to the tenants. So if it was due to improper housekeeping, guess what? I'm not paying that. The tenant is, one way or another. And hopefully, moving forward, we're able to continue this practice of billing the tenant back for damages they cause, rather than the owner footing the bill. Anybody have anything else that they need to talk about? Here we go. I can see you, Val. You're in trouble now. I see you. Pull that oven out and you'll find that the tenant's neglect of housekeeping every time, Val. And Val, you're not allowed to come to my house because I don't pull my oven out. I'm not tall enough. I try. I'm being funny, you guys. She's right, though. She's spot on. LARSO. So what happens if tenants don't pay for repair damage? Wait for them to remove and deduct? You can, or you can talk to legal counsel about suing them while they're still in possession of your unit. You have a couple different options you can take as far as billing back goes in LARSO. What notice for entry do I need to use so that I can get a report from my exterminator for my bi-yearly inspection for existing tenants that don't want the exterminator in the unit during COVID? I know they didn't have anything, but they will lie with BASTA. Understand? Go do, now they have to let you in. Right now, they have to let you in. So you could always go do an inspection right now and have the exterminator do a cleanliness report. You're welcome. And if there's an infestation, we want a cause of infestation report. 2 reports you can ask your exterminator for to help assist you. One is a cause of infestation, and the other one is a cleanliness report. You're welcome.
Patty, which pest control you prefer or recommend?
I use Access Exterminator. They're basically out of Orange County. I've used them for decades.
San Bernardino.
They cover San Bernardino. They're called Access Exterminator, and they're out of Orange County. They cover San Bernardino, the high desert, Orange County, and parts of LA. What notice for entry do I need to use so that I can get a report from my exterminator? No. You need to tell your exterminator that you want a cleanliness report and a cause of infestation report. To get free legal help, do tenants need to be poor? Nope. Nope. Are you sitting down? I'm about to tell you something. You ready? There is now a tenant advocate group for commercial tenants that help commercial tenants. There is a tenant advocate group that helps commercial tenants. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Youch. Yep. Now there's a tenant advocate group that helps commercial tenants. Google it. Anybody have anything else? Because I know we're at the hour. I want to remind you guys, we have AOA trade show this month, later this month. We have AGLA next Wednesday. I'll be doing live with AGLA from 12 to 1. So no, I misspoke, from 11 to 12. So I might be a little late getting on next week, but you guys might be a little late too if you're on AGLA's webinar with me. And yeah, we'll see you next week. But I may be a little bit late because I have an AGLA class right before you guys. Thank you, Patty. You're welcome. Thank you, Val. If your tenant is not cooperating with an inspection, there is a CAA form for them to sign stating that everything is A-okay inside. Better than fighting with them, unless you are aware of trouble that must be addressed. Val, I'm going to say something to you, okay? You have become a much different landlord in the last 6 months. It's like you did a full 180 and got grounded all over again, because now you are telling people, other people in the same industry, how they can help protect themselves and what documents are available to them and what That's all I want. I want you guys to feel confident in what you're talking about, know what you're talking about, instead of going, yeah, I don't know. I don't like that. I want you to be confident. I want you to have the confidence. I want you to look your tenant in the face and say, I'm sorry, I can't answer that. Let me get with my legal counsel and I'll get back with you. I just want you to have the confidence to present yourself accordingly. Use your fogging techniques. If you're in LA County, use those fogging techniques. Don't speak in absolutes, and you absolutely can't give the wrong answer. All right, I see April says, Patty's words, protect your asset. Yes, Val, I know you have scars. Oh, happy Easter. Yes, document, document, document. Look at you guys. You guys are all coming together. I love it. I love it. That's all I ever wanted with what we do, is for us to become smarter, more educated, and have more confidence when we're presenting ourselves. Oh, we love you. I love you guys too. I couldn't do it without you. You guys are awesome. Okay, if anybody else needs anything, you guys let me know. Next Wednesday, we will be on here, but I may be a little bit late because I am doing a webinar for AGLA from 11 to 12. So I could be a little bit late, no big deal. If you guys need anything, let me know. If you have questions about moving forward in LA County regarding an eviction, I'm telling you right now, call your attorney. The time is now. It's time to strike now. We don't want to wait any longer. Okay, it's time to go. But talk to your legal counsel so that you have a full understanding of what you're signing up for. And then let's get possession of your unit back, you guys. Come on. We've been held hostage long enough. This shit's got to stop at some point. And I say it stops now. You guys have been with me for like 3 years. You know, I've been saying the pandemic's going to end. It's going to end. No, it's done now. The fat lady has sung. Okay. It's over with. Gone. Okay. Do not ask for back rents and invite COVID to your eviction, because that's how you do that. April. Start with April and go forward from there. Okay. All right. If anybody needs anything, please feel free to reach out to me. I saw something come through. Hang on. When should we have given notice for rent increase in LA County? I think I missed it. Thank you, Patty. Check with legal counsel. Unincorporated LA counties cannot do an increase until February, I believe. So incorporated cities in LA County can do a rent increase. You need to check first. You need to use Google. Because remember, all the little municipalities came up with their own bureaucracy and bullshit. So as an example, the city of Baldwin Park will allow you to do a rent increase at no more than the CPI, not to exceed 3% once annually. What? That's what Patty just said. Baldwin Park has their own version of rent control. And now so does the city of Inglewood. And so does the city of Pasadena. And so does the city of Santa Ana. And so does, you understand? So there's going to be more and more of them coming about. Google, it's your friend. If you guys get into trouble and you need help, you know how to hunt me down, and I'm here to help point you in the right direction. Okay. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.